Good morning. Prime Minister-designate Lee Won-gu is set to be formally appointed after a narrow approval by the National Assembly. A cabinet reshuffle also looms. Let the holiday travels begin. The number of travelers to and from Incheon International Airport during this Lunar New Year holidays is expected to hit record highs. After the release of a video showing the apparent beheadings of 21 Egyptian Christians, Cairo says it has bombed Islamic State targets in Libya. And can you ever get enough sleep? Well, people in present-day society seem to say no. If you are one of them, there are some options you can try out. On Korea Today, Tuesday, February 17th, 2015.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Tuesday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. I'm Kim Young alongside Oh Jin-ju and Kim Min-jung.
Good morning, everyone. So the 3-day Lunar New Year holiday coupled with the weekend, so the 5-day Lunar New Year holiday is just around the corner. Exciting times, and many people are getting ready for the ancestral rites. And this morning we'll give you some pointers on how to choose the best fruits.
Right. Let's start with apples. Apples, it has to be quite heavy and red, but the important thing is it has to be quite rough on the surface when you rub it. And for pears, don't go for the big ones, but the mid-sized ones rather, and avoid the ones that are bumpy on the outside.
So it's not always the case that the bigger the better, right? In the case of the pears,
we usually go for the big ones.
Exactly.
Right?
Or smoother the better in that case, right? But here's a tip. It seems that the old phrase, one rotten apple spoils a bunch, it might actually be true. They say that you should store your apple separately from other vegetables and fruits because if one apple goes bad, it can actually affect the freshness of all the other that you stored it with.
Right, one bad apple.
That's right, so make sure you choose wisely.
All right, well, let's now check the stories making headlines on this Tuesday morning. President Park Geun-hye is scheduled to formally appoint Prime Minister-designate Lee Won-gu as the country's #2 man later today, following his narrow approval at the National Assembly on Monday. With the new Prime Minister in office, President Park is expected to start her cabinet reshuffle as early as this Tuesday. All eyes are on whether the president will replace her chief of staff, Kim Gi-chun, who's been at the center of controversy over the leakage of sensitive presidential documents. Of the potential candidates to succeed him are Seoul's outgoing ambassador to China, Kwon Young-se, and Justice Minister Hwang Kyo-an. In addition, at least 3 key positions are likely to be affected by the latest cabinet reshuffle, namely the Ministries of Unification, Health and Welfare, as well as the Oceans and Fisheries.
Amid questionable bilateral relations, Korea and Japan agreed to end their currency swap deal maintained since 2001. On Monday, Seoul's Ministry of Strategy and Finance said the currency deal worth $10 billion between Korea Central Bank and the Bank of Japan will not be renewed after it expires on the 23rd. The ministry pointed out Korea's economic fundamentals are strong, backed by a large foreign currency reserve, which stood at $362 billion at the end of January. The swap deal had at one point reached $70 billion, but was dialed back after Japan stepped up its territorial claims on Korea's Dokdo Island, rocking relations. The two sides emphasized, though, the decision was not based on political concerns and simply reflects the lack of need given the current economic status of both countries.
A Korean university student has won the top award in the Best Short Film category at the Berlin International Film Festival with his graduation piece. 32-year-old Na Young-gil won the Golden Bear for the Best Short Film category with his 24-minute movie called Hosanna at the Berlin Festival, one of the most prestigious film events in the world. The horror fantasy movie that centers on life and death is Na's graduation project at the Korea National University of Arts. The last time a Korean film won the award was in 2011 when Night Fishing by director Park Chan-wook and his brother Park Chan-kyung took home the coveted award.
So Korea's Lunar New Year or Seollal holiday begins tomorrow on Wednesday, and it's that time of the year when Koreans travel to their hometowns to spend time with their families and relatives. But many others are also planning to travel abroad as they can enjoy a much longer holiday than usual this year. Arirang News' Kim Jian is out at the country's largest Incheon International Airport, where she met some of those making their way out. Good morning, Jian. It's still early in the morning, but it looks quite bustling over there.
Good morning, Chinji. You're right. It's early in the morning, but it's packed with people. And this is because of the sheer number of those choosing to travel during the Lunar New Year holidays. And today alone, more than 74,000 people are either flying in or out of the country through this airport. Many travelers are taking advantage of the long holiday since the weekend follows right after the 3-day Lunar New Year holidays. And also an increasing number of Koreans are choosing to celebrate New Year's on January 1st and not according to the lunar calendar. And meanwhile, an increasing number of Chinese tourists are expected to visit this country because of the Spring Festival, which coincides with the Korean national holiday. Whether they're coming in or out of this country, they look pretty excited. Take a look.
A large number of Koreans are choosing to spend this year's Lunar New Year holiday Seoul abroad, with the weekend falling right after the 3-day holiday. The country's largest travel agency, Hanatour, says around 54,000 Koreans are using its programs to travel overseas during the holiday period, a 37% increase from last year. Many of them are heading to countries in Southeast Asia, with Japan and China being the next hottest destinations. But it's not just Koreans heading abroad. Foreigners, particularly Chinese tourists, are expected to flood the usually bustling streets of Seoul. In fact, this year, an unprecedented number of some 126,000 Chinese tourists are expected to visit the country during the Seoul holiday, up 30% from the previous year. What's special this year is that the extended Korean holiday happens to coincide with the week-long Chinese Spring Festival that starts Wednesday.
I'm staying in Korea during the Spring Festival holidays. I plan to try spicy Korean dishes and buy a lot of cosmetics here.
And while Chinese tourists are vacationing here in Korea in ever larger numbers, they're not going back home empty-handed, snatching up some of the most popular local cosmetic products while they're here. This trend has been so prevalent, in fact, that some Korean cosmetic companies, such as Amore Pacific and LG Household and Healthcare, said they've been experiencing a 2-digit growth in the past year. The strong consuming power of Chinese tourists has had a profound impact on the Korean economy, raking in an estimated $17 billion last year, equivalent to the amount of exporting 700,000 automobiles overseas. The surge in Chinese tourists has also contributed to creating some 340,000 jobs in the past year. So to further boost this trend, the state-run Korea Tourism Organization says it's coming up with new ways to lure in more visitors.
These days, more Chinese tourists are visiting Korea in smaller groups and are demanding a more localized experience than in popular tourist spots. So we're coming up with various programs to meet those demands, such as increasing the number of home cooking programs for tourists.
For the whole of 2014, more than 6 million Chinese tourists visited Korea, making up well over 40% of the total number of foreign visitors. The Korea Tourism Organization expects this number to edge up further this year to 7.2 million.
So, Jian, this Seollal holiday will definitely be one of the biggest occasions to attract Chinese tourists. And I heard that there are a lot of preparations being made to further promote Korea during their stay in Korea.
Right, Chinju. For the next 7 days, the Korean tourism organization is promoting an 안녕하세요 or a hello campaign for Chinese tourists. And for 2 p.m. for an hour starting 2 p.m. at Myeongdong and at 3 airports, including this one in Incheon, in Gimhae, and Yangyang, the agency is releasing leaflets and storybooks about Korea in the Chinese language, as well as shopping promotion guidebooks. And also, they're running tourism service centers and Shinsegae department stores in the popular district of Hongdae, and also one near the Sungnaemun area.
Right, and you know, a recent survey shows that Chinese tourists have had the most difficulty in communication during their visit to Korea, so I guess these campaigns will surely give them extra help. Thank you, Jian, for that report. That was Arirang News' Kim Jian reporting live on holiday travels for this holiday.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, a deeply divided parliament confirmed Lee Wan-gu as the new prime minister yesterday, capping 3 weeks of disputes over allegations of several ethical lapses. Now, all the dailies today taking note of this issue. We'll go ahead and begin with a look at Gyeongyang Shinmun. And it says Lee Wan-gu confirmed as prime minister, lowest rate of approval in 15 years. And if we go ahead and look at this sub-headline right here, following his heated confirmation hearing, the former ruling party floor leader narrowly passed the margin of approval by just 8 votes in parliament, as he received 148 of the 281 votes cast in yesterday's plenary session, and 128 voted against the bill and 5 were invalid. Now, the prime minister designate is expected to be sworn in today, with a small cabinet reshuffle expected to take place today as well. A shakeup in the presidential office is likely to come after the holiday. Now, in these images, you can see legislators following the vote from both the ruling party that backed Lee on the left, as well as the main opposition members who were against the nominee on the right. And now we'll go on to 동아일보 for a look at the headline towards the bottom of the front page. And this one is regarding the unification of the two Koreas. The header says President emphasizes need to attract global capital by promoting appeal of investment in unified Korea. And this is what President Park Geun-hye said, presiding over a meeting yesterday at the presidential office of Cheongwadae held by the country's Unification Preparatory Committee. Now, she said that once the two Koreas are unified, it will become possible to receive investments from in and out of the country if detailed plans for social overhead capital and resource development are laid out. She added that North Korea should quickly take the path to reform and dialogue by recognizing the wave of change in global society instead of continuing to ignore it. And if we go ahead and look at the sub-headline, she also stressed that Seoul's goal is not to isolate Pyongyang, but to help it come forward as a responsible member of the international community. Now, there was also emphasis on the need to prepare for unification expenses at this meeting. And moving on to another headline on 조선일보, another bottom one here separately. And this one is about low oil prices, and the title reads, "Build up new industries through transformation of business structure amid low oil prices." If we go ahead and look at the bold subheadline, the Daily interviewed 15 energy experts and received their advice regarding what local businesses should be working on amid the fall in global oil prices. The experts rallied behind one main point, emphasizing that this age of low oil prices is a valuable opportunity that Korean firms and the government must take advantage of. And they underscore the need to implement the right policies and reform existing business structures, as well as develop new industries in the energy sector to encourage company investment and spur consumption as well. And speaking of investments, we'll wrap with a look at the Korea Economic Daily here at the top. And it says startup boom returns after 15 years. angels are back. Now here, angels refer to angel investors, also known as business angels or informal investors, who are affluent individuals that provide capital for business startups. If we go out and look at this graph here, the whole country being in a fever for establishing new startups in recent years with the help of government as well. The number of startup companies has been on the rise, particularly with the number of angel investors increasing from less than 400 individuals in 2011 to more than 10,000 expected this year. And that was a look at our local headlines this Tuesday. Now following are the stock numbers from Monday.
Time now to get a check on the global headlines we're following at this hour from Seoul. We'll connect with our Eunice Kim, who's at the news center for that. Good morning there.
Good morning.
Now, Egypt has launched airstrikes against Islamic State targets, this time in Libya, in retaliation of the public beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians there. What more can you tell us?
Well, Minjung, there have been at least 2 known waves of airstrikes unleashed over the skies of Libya. Cairo says it targeted IS camps, training sites, and weapons storage areas there, and that there will be more aerial assault to come. This as some of the victims' families held a funeral service for their loved ones in El Or village of Samalut, though their bodies presumably remain in Libya. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called on the international community to expand its fight against IS beyond the strongholds of Iraq and Syria to include Libya, saying the situation there was also a threat to world peace and security. The UN Security Council and Secretary General Ban Ki-moon both condemned the mass murder as heinous and cowardly, as Pope Francis in his Monday address urged Catholics to remember these brothers who died for the mere fact of confessing Christ. And on to another country shrouded in sadness. Thousands of people in Denmark came together at a vigil in Copenhagen on Monday to mourn the victims of the weekend's twin attacks at a free speech gathering and outside a synagogue. Makeshift vigils were also held near Danish embassies around the world, including this one in Berlin, where flowers were laid and candles lit in the colors of a country proud of its openness and safety record. Denmark's prime minister said the country was facing a conflict with violent extremists and not Muslims, and pledged to remain strong and not be intimidated by attacks to free speech and other liberties. She also said the 22-year-old late gunman, who local media have identified as Omar El-Hussein, was not likely a part of a wider terror cell. The young man, who was born and raised in Denmark, has a long rap sheet of committing crime.
Let's switch gears now, Eunice. It's that time of the year when Brazil hosts one of the world's biggest festivals, the Rio Carnival, and the rain there and even the downpour couldn't kill the spirit of the parade.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, the a showpiece of that event is the Samba Drome, and organizers, in fact, had to hold off the event for about an hour as they tried to wait out the heavy tropical deluge late Sunday. But organizers and participants ultimately decided to dive right into the rain to the cheers of nearly 100,000 awaiting spectators from around the globe. It was a parade of color, sequins, feathers, music, and skin, as some 40,000 performers from some of the top samba schools danced on glitzy and elaborate floats. A total of 12 teams competed for the title of the year's best on Sunday and on Monday.
Quite a sight there, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Eunice.
Sure thing.
And still to come on Korea Today, are you fretting about those dark rings under your eyes that can make you look tired, older, and take away from a good first impression? What causes them really to form? Is it simply a lack of good night's sleep? Well, there's much more than that beneath those dark circles. We'll have a doctor joining us in the studio to tell us more, so do stay with us.
Korea's musical industry has grown vastly over the past 15 years or so, and we've seen musical successes as well as failures. But while some have gone and some have come, at the same time, there is one that has remained around and maintained its popularity for quite some time, and that is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And joining us is Im Yoon-hee to talk more about this. It's been about 10 years, right?
A little bit over 10 years, right. So Jekyll and Hyde has long been one of the most popular musicals here in Korea, and now it's established itself as one of the most successful. Recently, they celebrated their 1,000th performance on stage. Take a look at this next report.
A man determined to find out why there is both evil and good within humankind. But along the process, Dr. Henry Jekyll finds himself at the mercy of a great evil within his own body, who appears in the form of Hyde. The musical first debuted in Korea in 2004 and was an immediate hit. Through the years, it steadily attracted audience members, filling the theater at over 80% capacity with each show. Before, no matter how early I tried to book tickets, I could never get a good seat. This time around, I was able to get my hands on something.
When Yoo Jung-han plays Jekyll, he gives a powerful performance. And when Jo Seung-woo plays the role, the overall impression is so different, but each performance has its charms.
Now in its 11th year, the musical boasts over 106 million audience members, and this past weekend it reached its 1,000th show, a landmark accomplishment for a musical. But there's no mystery as to why. With a star-studded cast and special effects to match, it's a show built on the hard work of all those involved.
It's exciting, and to be able to do 1,000 performances is such an honor. I always tell people that Jekyll and Hyde is the best performance I've been in.
Jekyll and Hyde has been shown on all the major theaters throughout the country and has become a household musical name in the country, now joining the ranks of Korea's most prestigious musical productions.
_1,000th show, and featuring some of the big names
right.
in the musical industry. Jo Seung-woo, we also saw Sonia. So this is huge. But there's been a couple other chosen musicals that's made the 1,000th mark, huh?
Right, so Jekyll and Hyde is only the third musical to have ever achieved this mark. The first one was The Last Empress, which is Korea's first original Korean music production, and Mamma Mia also reached that mark. Last year they had the original London cast here to perform in Korea. So only a couple few musicals have reached this 1,000 show mark. So very big accomplishment.
I did have a chance to see both the original cast as well as the Korean cast, and just as phenomenal. I mean, both of them are great.
Right.
And when you're talking about the Korean cast, Mamma Mia, for example, musicals like that, they've had the Korean cast perform, and same as is the case with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Right. So similarly, Dr. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde has been very popular because they said they tailor-made the show to fit the Korean audience. And as a result, it's been very popular, very successful, as you can see. So with this originally Broadway performance, they translated to the Korean production team, similar with Mamma Mia, and they said that has been very successful here in Korea.
Okay, some people say that Dr. Jekyll, if you're playing the role of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that's kind of the benchmark on how good of a musical actor that you are, because there are some scenes in there where you're playing both sides, switching back and forth.
A tricky role to play.
Sure is. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right, still ahead on Korea Today, those dark circles that you might be getting might be because you're not getting enough sleep. So are you getting enough sleep? Well, a large percentage of people, they say no, and we're going to be looking at some answers to that. A growing number of sleep-deprived people seem to be the case in this day and age. There's a booming industry that offers everything from special pillows to luxury hotel packages. And if you can't get any sleep there, something's wrong. Sigrist shows us how to get some sound sleep.
Korean scientists are working on an ambitious plan to land a spacecraft on the moon in the year 2020. That's only 5 years away.
That's right. And a prototype of the rover that will explore the moon has been unveiled to the public yesterday. Our Son Misorang joins us here in the studio to tell us more. Good morning, Misorang.
Good morning. When you say 5 years, it's very short. When you say 2020, it seems a bit longer away. But it's
futuristic.
Really, yeah, but it's just really 5 years away. So video footage of the rover was released yesterday by the Korea Institute of Science and Technology. Now, as you can see in the video, the prototype has 6 wheels, and the main body is split into 2 parts that are connected by a chain, giving it stability even on the moon's uneven terrains. Inside, there's a state-of-the-art temperature control unit that can withstand fluctuations of 300 degrees. Now, the prototype weighs 13 kilograms, measures 50 centimeters by 70 centimeters at base, and has a maximum speed of just under 4 centimeters per second.
So, Misorang, when it comes to spacecrafts, we do a lot of trial runs with prototypes before building the actual one. So, how far along in the process are we?
You're absolutely right. So, with spacecrafts or space equipment, there are numerous steps, but basically broken down into 3. We have the experimental model, and then the qualification model, then the flight model, which is sent to the space. Now, this prototype is not even at the engineering model, the first stage yet. We're aiming to have the engineering model ready by early 2017, so just 2 years away.
Good luck to them, and good luck to us.
Now, meanwhile, when we study, our chances of getting a high-paying job increases. But for marriage, the higher the level of education, the chances of getting married actually decreases, at least for women. That's a result according to a master's student's thesis. He studied over 500 Korean adults over 10 years and found that, at least for women, the chances of getting married once you get an undergraduate degree is 8% lower than that of a high school graduate or lower, but it gets really worse from here. Once you go and get a PhD or a master's, it drops by 58%. The author, he said that the main reason for this is that the higher the level of education a woman gets, it becomes increasingly hard for her to find a comparable or similar companion.
Thank God I'm undergraduate level.
Your chances are still okay.
Yeah. What about for men? I'm curious. How did the level of education affect their chances of getting married?
It wasn't as dramatic. Their main issue was whether or not they were employed. So those who had a job were 1.7 times more likely to get married than those who were unemployed. Now, wrapping up with Seoul just around the corner, a video has gone viral that teaches people how to make the perfect 동그랑땡s, or the Korean-style meatballs that we frequently eat during traditional holidays. Now, I had a look at the video myself, and there are 3 main points. Number 1, mix it well. Get all the ingredients together, the meat, the veggies, the dubu, and so on, and give it a real good mix to get the texture as smooth as possible. Point 2, use cling wrap. Make a sausage shape using cling wrap or kimbap roller to get that nice round shape. And number 3, keep flipping. You need to flip over each piece at least 8 times to get that nice, perfect texture. Crunchy on the outside, but soft on the inside.
It's making me hungry already.
We're going to be having plenty of humgrangting during the 5-day holiday.
Absolutely.
So.
Now you know how to make it perfectly.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Orang.
You're welcome.
And a good Tuesday morning to you all as we kick things off with the Korean national football team, where after confirming their March A-match schedule, they've announced the venues for the two matches against Uzbekistan and New Zealand on Monday. And this seems like both matches will take place here in the nation, as the March 27th match against Uzbekistan will take place at the Daejeon World Cup Stadium, marking it the first time in nearly 10 years that an A-match has taken place in the same venue that Korea defeated Italy during the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup. And on March 31st, the match against New Zealand will take place in Seoul at the Seoul World Cup Stadium, as the KFA continues to spread the venues all around the nation. Now, when FINA, the World Swimming Governing Body, gave Park Tae-hwan an extension on the hearing, which was initially set for February 27th, we were all saying, well, finally he caught a break. Well, it seems like shortly after that, he hit another bump on the road, this time possibly a career ender. Now, according to reports coming out on Monday, Park Tae-hwan's suspension initially began on September 3rd, 2014, when he first tested positive on a banned substance. But because he requested for a B sample testing, his suspension might start on the date where he tested positive the second time, meaning December 8th, 2014. And with this mandatory provisional suspension being pushed for 3 months, this means that a 20-month suspension, which he's likely to receive, will not allow him to participate in the 2016 Rio Summer Games and possibly ending his career. Now, it seems like everyone was blaming Lee Sang-hwa's left knee issues for the reason why she's been struggling this season in speed skating, except for her coach Eric Bowman, who saying that it's not her knee. Now, in an interview after Lee Sang-hwa's 5th place finish at the ISU Single Distance Speed Skating Championships, the national speed skating team head coach Eric Bowman stated that it's not her left knee that's the problem, but fatigue. He added that she has not been able to rest and that along with her knee not being 100%, it's the reason for why she has been struggling. Now, the former Dutch junior team coach made it clear that a surgery is not required and that she'll soon be back in form after a proper rest. Now, it seems like the number 3 has been quite a popular number in the sporting world recently, with Son Heung-min scoring 3 goals this past weekend and both Lee Sang-hwa and Mo Tae-bum going after their 3rd straight gold in the 500-meter event. But this time, it's in the LPGA. Now, with the ISPS Honda Women's Australian Open taking place starting on Thursday, the Korean LPGA stars hope to make it 3 straight victories to start off the new season after Chen Ah-yeon and Kim Se-young grabbed the first 2 titles of the season. But historically, the odds are against them, as Shin Ji-hye is the only past winner in the history of the event when she won it back in 2013. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Your eyes play an integral role in determining your first impression. So when you have dark circles around them, they can make you look tired and unhappy.
I feel like dark circles come from fatigue and a lack of sleep. When I get them, they make me look really tired and swamped with work.
I think some people naturally have them like I do, and you also get them if you're tired. It makes you look pretty sick and tired.
There are many reasons why people get dark circles. Being exposed to ultraviolet rays, rubbing your eyes constantly, and losing fat under the eyes can all lead to the dark under-eye rings. Dark circles accompanied by a stuffy or runny nose may stem from allergic rhinitis. Not only that, those with stress or fatigue that burdens the liver and kidneys, or people who have suffered from atopic dermatitis for prolonged periods can also get dark circles from a lack of nutrition and discoloration in the skin. Treatment options for the dark rings differ depending on the cause. Kim Sang-hoon is experiencing trouble from his dark rings that have become more severe due to his irregular lifestyle. But he says the dark patches have been around since he was young and that they won't easily go away.
My dark circles have gotten worse these days, and a lot of people have been telling me that I look really tired. It started stressing me out a lot, so I came to receive treatment.
Over half the people who seek medical help for dark circles have discoloration problems. In this case, they need to receive laser treatment to remove the melanin pigment and burn off noticeable blood vessels. Also, by receiving skin whitening treatment with vitamins, it can create a much brighter tone around the eyes. If the dark rings are caused from a lack of fat underneath the eyes, dermal fillers can be used to add fat. A hyaluronic acid filler combined with hemocyte extracted from your own blood requires only a short period of time for the procedure, and it lasts for roughly 20 to 24 months, making it a popular option. You can see how the procedure can help people regain a brighter image compared to before.
Dark circles cannot completely be treated, and maintenance afterwards is very important. The condition is created not only by one problem. They're related to blood circulation, pigmentation, and fat tissue. So getting a lot of sleep regularly or using facial masks to keep your skin healthy will help relieve some of the symptoms.
When the dark circles are caused by a weakness in the liver or kidneys, Korean medicine can be used for treatment.
People who naturally have weaker livers or kidneys get tired more easily and their water metabolism is low, so they have a greater tendency of getting dark circles.
In order to strengthen the function of the liver and kidneys, a herbal medicinal infusion is provided according to the body conditions of each individual. In the case of severe wrinkles around the eyes, meseonchim acupuncture is used to relieve the symptoms, and results begin to show after roughly 2 weeks of treatment. Patients with allergic rhinitis often have dark circles. When blood circulation within the nasal cavity is poor, a pigment called hemosiderin within the blood causes pigmentation, leading to the dark rings.
One of the most common causes of dark circles is allergic rhinitis. In order to see whether you have it, you need to receive an allergy test or blood test to find out what the antigen is. Once you've confirmed the cause, you can avoid it, treat the condition to boost immunity against it, or receive surgery.
When the problems stem from the nasal cavity, the priority is to treat the infection in the nasal area to recover the function of the mucous membrane. This will allow for good circulation around the nose and under the eyes, in effect, removing the dark circles. Steam inhalation is an effective method in providing moisture in the nasal cavity to reduce the symptoms of allergic rhinitis. A healthy lifestyle and treatment fit for your body can help get rid of dark circles to give you a boost in confidence and help you make a better first impression.
So there's a multitude of reasons that you can actually get dark circles under the eyes, everything from fatigue to kidney problems or rhinitis. We looked at that. Or you might just be born with it, for that matter. So we'll get a look at some of the answers behind this and also the treatment options that are out there with Dr. Hong Young-ho joining us from G Clinic Aesthetic Medicine. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Morning. So as we saw in the report, there are various factors that can cause the dark rings under your eyes, but many people say that you get them when you are tired. So does this have anything to do with the amount of sleep you get?
Studies have shown that poor sleep leads to poor skin condition. There is something called the autonomic nervous system in our body, and it controls the blood and body fluid circulation. And if you don't get good sleep and good rest, it can interfere with the system, which leads to swollen or discoloration or sunken look under the eyes. The skin around the eyes is actually very thin compared to other parts of the body, so it's more vulnerable to the outside environment, such as dry weather or cold weather. And of course, the internal conditions such as fatigue, stress, and lack of sleep.
That explains a lot, these dark rings under my eyes.
Use the eye cream.
And we looked at some of the non-surgical methods, including the fillers and also the laser treatments. Can you see some improvements after just one procedure? And what are some of the things that you need to keep in mind after getting the treatment?
If the dark circles are a result of decreased fat tissue around the eye area, we can reinforce it with injectable dermal fillers, which is actually a very simple procedure. And it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? And it takes about a few days for the little swelling to go away.
So you don't have to really worry about it causing you to stay home from work or anything like that for long periods of time. But there are laser treatments and also the fillers that we were talking about that you can actually see results after just one application or one treatment, right? But what if you have a severe case? I mean, how do you know if you actually need to get invasive surgery for this instead of just regular fillers?
Those who need somewhat more invasive surgical procedures are those patients whose dark circles are due to bulging of the fat pad under the eyes due to fat accumulation and loss of skin tension. This is more common in middle-aged women and middle-aged men. And the surgical fat removal or surgical rearrangement of the fat under the eyes is necessary for those.
Okay. Well, what about home remedies? We've seen, or we've heard of people saying that putting salmon around your eyes. I don't know. I've heard this from someone, really. But anyhow, home remedies like that. Salmon, for example, does it really work or have any effect at all?
Patching your eye under the eye skin with raw salmon, I'm not too sure about that. There's a metabolite called astaxanthin, which is found in lobsters and shrimps, and indeed in salmon. And it has some good effects in our body to fight fatigue and relieve pain. And it's also good for skin protection. I think the idea came from there.
Okay.
But you would have to ingest it rather than putting it onto your face.
Okay, so don't put it on your face, eat the salmon, right? Okay, that makes sense. I think it's more useful that way.
Right. And apart from the foods that you recommended or you talked about, what are some of the other tips that we can use at home? Perhaps a massage or like a cooling thing?
Yeah, we can always make use of warm towels and your fingers just to simply dab the skin around your eyes to promote better blood circulation.
Can you maybe show us some of the key points?
Just simply dabbing.
Just around the eye
Not too much rubbing it.
Okay.
Okay. And it promotes better blood circulation. And we could make use of some of the products such as facial masks or eye masks to give moisture to the skin.
Okay, so moisturize, massage, and heat up a little bit and take care of your eyes. Get plenty of rest, and if you have rhinitis, get that treated too. Salmon, eat the salmon.
Eat the salmon. Don't apply the salmon onto your skin.
Dr. Hong, thank you so much for joining us on this.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we can all attest to this. I mean, we've been doing this morning program for the past 3 years or so, and I'll tell you, sometimes it's really tough getting to sleep because you're afraid that you're not going to be able to wake up in the morning, right? In the wee early hours, right? But for those of you who might be missing out on that much needed sleep, we're going to be finding out some options for you. Maybe a few products that can actually help you get some sleep. Joining us is Sigrist to tell us more. So did you get a good night's sleep?
Last night?
Yeah. No, right? Because you have to wake up in the morning.
I did. So it's unusual for me to get up this early since it's not an everyday thing like you guys. So for me, it was a little bit, more difficult. But it's interesting. There's this new thing called sleep economics. It's related to the growing industry that's coming around with people who have to spend more money just to get a better night's sleep. And do you know the average time in Korea that it is for the average adult to get sleep here?
We get about 3, I think.
3? That's about right.
A little past 6 hours.
6 hours?
Yeah.
It's higher than I thought. It's 7 hours 49 minutes.
Oh, that's a luxury.
But that is actually the lowest of the OECD nations. So I was a little surprised at that. So we took a look at some products this week to see exactly what's going on in Korea. So let's go ahead and take a look. So many people battle with sleep every day, and of course, I'm also having a lot of trouble getting a good night's sleep.
I cannot get a good night's sleep. There's got to be an easier way than this.
According to the National Health Insurance Service, the number of patients with sleep disorders in Korea has jumped by 60% over the past 5 years. And with growing interest in how to sleep better, a new milk has even been developed to help people get to bed.
Like hope to sleep, right?
Yes. So what exactly is Sleep Easy?
While you're sleeping, a hormone called melatonin is produced. This melatonin helps you sleep, and cows have this as well. If you milk the cow at night, you'll find a lot of melatonin in the milk. This product is made with milk produced at night, and that's why it helps you sleep well.
I've heard of warm milk too.
So earlier this year, the product recorded nearly $50,000 in sales after a month of its launch. But within 2 months, that has nearly tripled. And the milk has just been flying off the shelves. It has become a better option for people who used to rely on sleeping pills. And tonight, hopefully I'll be getting a good night's sleep. There are also natural scents and cosmetics that help to calm the mind and enter a deep sleep. And as such, the industry related to sleep has seen exponential growth, roughly $1.5 billion in size. So this has brought some dramatic changes to the bedding industry, with interesting pillows helping people sleep using light and sound.
So I've got this nice combination of these lights in front of my eyes, even though they're closed. It kind of feels like a candle's in front of me. And then the sound is very relaxing in the pillow, so it's like a dual threat combination to... So this kind of setup with the sound and the lights really helps put you in a good sleep?
This is a light that induces the brainwaves to deep sleep. You won't know it, but as the waves transform, you'll be able to fall into deep sleep.
So you didn't find it distracting, it actually helps you sleep.
Well, at the very beginning, it's a little distracting because it's new, but then after a while, the light and sound from the pillow helps to adjust kind of the delta waves that are present during sleep, and it removes the elements that obstruct good sleep as well, creating this more conducive environment. So once you get used to it, it's actually okay. It's surprising. So at a different place we visited, they were actually making special pillows for the customers. So I'm filling out this information right now on this about my sleeping habits, my patterns, what kind of pillow I'm using now, what kind of bed I'm on right now. There's a whole list of things here that it's going to help me find that perfect pillow that's exactly suited for my current situation. So first they scan the body with a 3D scanner and then create an image of the body with characteristics unique to the user. And after that, they create a sample following the smooth lines, and then you have your one and only personalized pillow.
Everyone's body type is different, just like their fingerprints are. That's why you need a 3D scan to find the pillow that fits your body perfectly.
The design is created based on the user's body, and the customized pillow is then made with the help of silicone. It is created to fit the length between the neck and the shoulders, and the depth of the head and the neck when you're lying down. So it can prevent people from getting a straight neck or wrinkles. The position it puts the body in realigns the neck and the spine, creating better posture for people when they sleep. Now, luxury hotels are also jumping on to this trend of sleep, offering something called a fresh concept room that claims to come with the optimal conditions for sleeping well. So they use a nice relaxing scent, the sound of a radio that takes you back kind of to a simpler time, and eco-friendly interior designs including antibacterial wallpaper and phyton-side cypress tiles that kind of make you feel like you're in the woods. So after installing this special room for good sleep, its reservations jumped by 20%, and is popular with many of these sleep-deprived travelers and visitors. So what is the reason for developing the Fresh Journey concept here?
Well, actually this room is designed for people who lives in metropolitan city like Seoul. They're being very busy, so they don't really get to have enough sleep. And we thought having a good sleep is very important in your life. So, and we also noticed that people trying to invest their financial budget and time to detox their personal life. So we thought maybe Walker could provide this kind of facility and services. That's why we created this room.
By creating a pleasant environment for all of your 5 senses, these venues aim to create the best surroundings for a good sleep.
That tastes healthy and pretty good, actually.
From unique bedding supplies to drinks and even special rooms, the industry for better sleep is rapidly evolving, providing many sleepless people with a good night's rest.
Yeah. Right, if you stay at a 5-star hotel, I think you're going to feel rested no matter which room you're in, right? But anyhow, we'll take a look at this baby formula stuff.
Baby is so interesting,
That's what it looks like,
so
right?
this is supposed to help
So is this going to knock me out if I drink a little bit of this?
I wouldn't take the whole thing down right now.
Let's try it.
I'm nervous.
No, Gigi, you gotta try. Come on, join
I have
the
work to
crowd.
do.
No, I don't think this is gonna work
exactly
immediately.
like my kid's baby formula. It's, you know.
And how often do you try that?
Well, every time I give that to them, they go to sleep. So I guess that's how it works,
Tastes
right?
like warm milk, but
It
a
does.
little less. It's not as thick
Right.
as the milk.
Well, this one is it's a powder, so you have to mix it into a water. So it's not exactly like a milk, since it is dried and then put back into water to make that happen.
I'm feeling drowsy already.
To have a sleep.
Well, you know, it's very soft. They do say that warm milk, if you heat up milk and you drink a little bit of that before you go to bed, it actually helps you go to sleep. So maybe that's the concept there. But regardless.
And that pillow is so interesting because sometimes when I go to sleep, I feel like my pillow is a little too high, sometimes too low. Never really get the right type of pillow, but you got a customized pillow.
This is
your
for
name on it.
Alex Sigrist.
Wow, that's
So
really something else.
this is really just for me. It's fit to my neck, to my head, everything. I tried it out and it works. I was actually really surprised because I kind of was skeptical beforehand.
Oh. So this is where you put your head?
Yeah, so that was, if we can
Demonstrate for us.
while sitting straight up.
Oh.
But it does fit exactly with my shoulders and everything that goes with it. And it's nice. I mean, it's actually helpful in preventing you from rolling over a little bit too. The way that it's designed, there's a patent on it and everything. It's good for people. Well, it's really good for everyone. I mean, from someone who's pregnant to someone who's got back problems, a herniated disc. You know, can benefit anyone who really wants a customized pillow.
Because when your pillow is too high, sometimes your neck, after a night's sleep, your neck feels a little strained and, you know, a little stiff.
And you wake up at night trying to find the right posture.
Exactly.
And I also heard that there are some special custom-made comforters or blankets that you can use. And what options do we have when it comes to those blankets?
Well, there's a lot, and it really just depends on what kind of sleeper you are. For example, if you're a light sleeper and you wake up at the smallest sound, you should have
earplugs.
Earplugs. You should have a down comforter, something with goose feathers that helps to absorb the sound.
Oh, okay.
People who sweat a lot, you should have something that allows, that absorbs it and then releases moisture very quickly. And then, you know, there's so many different types. If you're sensitive, you have to consider, do you have one that has dust that's made with kind of extra color additives? So there's a whole range of that you have to be aware of when you're purchasing a comforter.
Okay, so comforters, I mean, it depends on what your body type is and how you sleep, your sleeping habits. But anything else that you actually found quite interesting?
Oh, there were a lot. I mean, there's a lot. It's a huge industry. That was the surprising part. There were pillows between your toes.
Toes?
That can help with circulation. It's for people that are on their feet the whole day.
Or maybe people who are getting a pedicure while they sleep, right?
If you're wearing high heels all day, then you might want to look into that. They have a pillow for your eyes that helps you. It's better than just a regular eye mask. It kind of covers around the outside. They have lavender scented ones. They can have flaxseed oil up there. And what I thought was kind of interesting is you have a sleep coordinator, some coach who watches you sleep and kind of takes a look at your patterns and then can tell you what products are good for you.
Interesting.
And they'll be your sleep coach.
Well, it definitely seems like a growing industry.
Right.
Sleep coordinator.
So he would watch you and tell you what you're doing wrong in your sleep.
Flip
and get you
around or something
right.
like
This is very interesting.
That is very interesting. Thank you so much, Alex.
Of course.
All right. Well, this is where we say goodbye on this Tuesday morning.
All right. Enjoy it out there. There's going to be some traffic, and we're going to get a mix of snow as well as rain in some areas. So do be careful out there. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Thanks
for
watching.
Bye-bye.